Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Conversation Shop with Cedric Page. I want to thank you for joining us on the Conversation Shop today. I know it's been a while since I've done a show. I've had a lot of different things happen in my life and just wanted to discuss it with my audience today. Again, want to thank you, and we're just going to dive right in. Again, I've been dealing with some loss and death in my family. Quite frankly, had my father passed. So the first topic that we're going to talk about today is dealing with loss, and the stress and the strain that comes from that. And I wanted an opportunity to kind of share some of the things that I'm going through, and hopefully through some of the things that I'm navigating, it will help someone else. After the first break, we're just going to do this on the first segment of the show. Second segment of the show, I'm going to have my good friend, Mr. Ken Meyer, join me, and we will be discussing investment. Investment with silver, gold, Bitcoin. So educating you guys on the appropriate way, or give you some suggestions on good ways to invest your money in cash in things that are tangible. So again, diving right in. Today I want to talk about overcoming loss. With the death of my father, it made me think about many, many different things. One of the main things that it brought to mind was that it just happened so quickly. And in life, we always think we have more time. And in reality, tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So we don't know when we're going to leave this earth. We don't know what hour, what date, what time. So I challenge my audience as a whole, never take any day, any second for granted. If there's someone that you love and that you care about, tell them that you love them and that you care about them. If there's anything that you need to do or want to do with them, one of the main things that I was excited about this summer was my father coming up here to Madison. And I'm sad to say that in the years he had never met my younger kids, Jaden and Olivia. So that was one of the things that he wanted to come up here, but connect with his grandkids and get an opportunity to see his son as an adult man, and to acknowledge his son's accomplishments and just who he is. And often in life, we forget that. I had left home, Natchez, Mississippi, at 17 years old, and went out to make my mark in the world. And by doing so, and trying to make my mark in the world, sometimes you forget about home. Sometimes you forget about the people at home. Sometimes you forget about your family when you think about making your mark or proving yourself. And maybe at times when you were in your hometown, maybe you weren't the person that you wanted to be. So sometimes I know living other places offers people a way of becoming someone else and becoming and doing other things than what they've been accustomed to or what they've been labeled to. That's nothing that I did. My going away was literally all about making my grandmother proud, making my dad proud, and just taking some of the things that I had learned about living in life and applying them in good ways, never knowing what they were going to be. So as I navigate loss and as I reflect on my life, I realize that those decisions that I was making was actually alienating me from my family, from relationships, from knowing who my nieces and nephews are, to spending time with my nieces and nephews, to allowing them to know me outside of a picture on the wall, outside of a conversation on the phone. And what I realized, they don't know me any more than they know someone that they watch on television or someone that they meet in passing, and that bothered me. So I just wanted to challenge my audience to make sure that you're making the right connections. Make sure that you're connecting with your family, and make sure that you're loving the people that love you. And, let's talk about family a little bit. I know in life, a lot of times we like to think that our families are some of the worst things moving. There's great things about our family. A lot of us want to run away and get away from things. But what we failed to do as children is understand some of the hills and valleys that our parents have gone through to get us where we're at. Sometimes they did it alone, single parents. Sometimes, single fathers. Let me not leave out the single fathers who have lost wives through death or for whatever reason, divorce, who've taken care of their kids and done the best that they could. So let us not forget them. Again, I want to bring everyone back to just reconnecting with your family and cherishing the time that you have with them. Some of the other things that I reminisce about my father, and let me say his name, Mr. Vernon Lee Johnson, Jr., and give all praise to my grandfather, Mr. Vernon Lee Johnson, Sr. To me, they were supermen when I was growing up. I didn't have to look too far to find black role models, African-American men role models. I saw my grandfather get up and go to work 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning every day, driving a truck, doing construction work or doing electrical work. And then in the evenings, he ran a nightclub. So I used to be out there as a little boy at Vernon's Place. I'm sure the people in Natchez, Mississippi know Vernon's or the former Hawks Lounge. My grandfather sold it to him. But loading up the bar and taking care of a business, and that's what I was accustomed to. That's what I saw. So as I grew up, I didn't know anything different. I thought everybody did that, even though I had other people in my family that may not have moved in those ways. But I got a chance to see people getting up every day, going to work, being productive and taking care of their families. As an adult, I remember having breakfast, lunch, dinner. I thought supper was a fourth meal. I didn't know it was optional. That'll tell you how I grew up and how blessed I was. Now that I'm older, I realize how blessed I was in that. I had an opportunity to get to know my aunts and uncles and even my father to a certain extent, almost like a sibling, because my grandmother and grandfather raised me. So it was almost like I was their younger brother, a younger sister. So it was a very different way. And I like to give all praise to Miss Ruby Lee Johnson, my grandmother, who raised me and taught me how to be a good man. And I'm proud to say that I'm a good man. My journey hasn't been easy. I've had major valleys, major highs. But when I reflect on my life, I have to give my grandmother number one praise, my mother secondary, and then my grandfather and my father praise for teaching me or showing me what it was to be a respectable, responsible man. But they were old school. So they were providers. They really didn't connect with kids. In old school, that wasn't the thing to do. So I lost out on some of those interactions. But as I got older, I realized that sometimes you have to be appreciative of the fact that you're friends with your parents. And I had just gotten to the age where I didn't need a father. I got into the age I really didn't need a mother to a certain extent, but I needed a friend. I needed my father to be my best friend. I needed my mother to be my best friend. And I'm proud to say that prior to my father passing, he was definitely my best friend. And my mother is my best friend. She's a good friend of mine. I talk to her every day. So I challenge you, if you can pick up the phone and speak with your mother, if you can pick up the phone and give your dad a call, if you can pick up the phone and reach out to anyone that means anything to you in your life, tell them that you love them, tell them that you appreciate them, and don't think that you have more time. Tomorrow is definitely not promised to you. As I also navigate, we think about, were they good men? Am I going to be a good man? Am I a good father? So as I reflect on different decisions that were made, I thank my father for his bluntness in allowing me to realize that in life, you come into this world with zero, you leave with zero. So I have no expectations on someone owing me something. And I say that to my audience because when someone passes, everyone's quick to try to calculate what they're getting. I'm getting something. What did they leave? This and that. And it often separates families. It causes big rifts. People start fighting, accusing someone of this, someone of taking that. And when the dust settles, you can't take it with you. None of it matters. And none of it should matter if it means destroying a family and destroying relationships. You have to let things just be. So my challenge to you and for you is to just let things be. Again, don't take anything for granted. Don't take your mother for granted, your father for granted, any of your relationships for granted. If you're arguing with a brother, a sibling, or family member, please understand that when you're laying on your deathbed, and I've been on mine, for those who don't know, none of those things matter. What matters is the lives that you've touched. What matters is the relationships that you've made. And what matters is your family. So in my life, in the little bit or the rest of it that I have, I choose to focus on family, to focus on friends, to focus on the things that matter, to focus on the people that I love. I have no expectation of anyone other than I love you, you love me back. I tell everyone to protect your heart. You don't allow people to step on your heart and to mistreat you, but at the same time, never let it jade you and stop you from loving. Now, guys, we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back on The Conversation Shop with Mr. Ken Meyer. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Conversation Shop. I want to thank you for tuning in, and we're going to dive right back into the show. The first segment I was talking or discussing dealing with loss and overcoming death. For those that don't know, I had lost my father last week, and it was is a very trying time for me. And if I could help anyone navigate loss and give you any pointers of how to deal with losing someone through my own pain, is what the show is about today, which is what my goal is and which is what I hope to do, which is being a positive in your lives. So one of the other things that I wanted to share with my audience is, the feeling that you have when you lose someone so quickly, especially when you lose someone that you're, I guess, developing a relationship with, fixing a relationship with, or just trying to make it stronger. And one of the main things I have, or what I'm dealing with, is regret. The regret that we deal with, or that I'm dealing with, is, again, going back to thinking I had more time. Could have made some sacrifices and gotten to my father a little bit quicker. Thought I had an extra day. My dad was gone the next day. So there's regret that I've been feeling with that, but I also understand that it's just things in life that happen, and we all have to roll with the punches, and we have to accept life for the way that it is. But one of the things that jumped out to me immediately when my father passed, I had a nasty and a bad habit of going around saying that I'm in this world all by myself, or that I feel alone a lot, or that I don't have anyone. And one of the things that I realized, and guys, I hope I don't get emotional in here, but I'm talking about my dad. But one of the things I realized is that I'm definitely not alone. God has manifested itself in my life every single day, prior to my dad passing, but definitely afterwards. And the main thing that I want to say to everyone, friends in your life become family. I've been away from home for many, many years, not around blood family. But the friendships that I've made and cultivated, and the relationships that I've made and cultivated, those friends have become my family. Those friends have pulled together in ways that I can't even speak on to be there for me. Mr. Ken Meyer, Mr. Steve Whalen, Mrs. Susan Tucker, Stephen Kingsbury, Rita Kingsbury, cousin family, my mother, Deborah Page, sisters, Vernisha, Avery, cousins, Kenny Ray Walker, Jr., Courtney, a lot of my family members, not just speaking those words that they care, but showing as well. But again, just want to remind everyone, whenever you feel alone, don't forget to take stock of your friends, because they're your family as well. And don't discern or throw away or dismiss the impact that they have on our lives and the impact that they have on us individually. They give us everything that we want and hope for from family members. And having said that, that's what I realized in my assessment of feeling alone. It wasn't that I wasn't getting the attention and the love from people in my life. What it was I wasn't feeling that same love and attention from the people that I wanted to feel it from. So by not getting it from the person that I wanted it from, it made me feel alone. So if I could do anything today, it's I want to wake you up. And I want to say it again, wake you up. You cannot control how someone interacts with you, how they feels about you. The only thing you can control is how you make someone feel, the words that come out of your mouth and your interaction with them. So again, focus on what you have instead of what you think, keyword think, quote unquote, what you don't have. Because I think when most of us sit back and we look and we reflect, there's always someone positive or someone in our lives that are always loyal to us, that you can always go to. They may not have much. It may be 2 pieces of rice, but they're going to give you 1 strand of rice. You can have the other one. That's a friend. That's someone that loves you. So I'm very appreciative of all the people that have shown me love. Inshallah, I thank God for that. Moving past that, just wanted to talk about family. I love watching The Godfather. One of the things I love about The Godfather is something that I watched about family again. And what it is when family argues and fights out in the open, has disagreements, out in the open, I'll even add, even behind closed doors, it's a sign of weakness. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying families won't have disagreements. Families won't have bump heads on things. But we have to let things go. You can't hold on to them and let them drive wedges in between families, which leads to outward negativity, arguments, outward things happening that are negative. And what happens when you do it out in public, people make assumptions and they start to interpret what those are. And quite frankly, it's a definite sign of weakness. And families, as far as I'm concerned, should be strong. We shouldn't be like the open hand, separated. We should be like the closed hand, strong, together. So if I could do anything for anyone out there, heal your families. Clear up any misconceptions or arguments that you have. Because again, tomorrow's not promised to you. If there's anyone out there that I've offended, hurt, unintentionally, and I say unintentionally because all of my intentions are to be good and to be a good person. But I fall short as well. If I offended any of you, if I've hurt any of you, I apologize, and you have that apology sincerely. You have that apology sincerely from me. Hopefully you forgive me because it comes from my heart. I've made mistakes in the past. Great example, reflection with my brother. When you're young and you're the oldest brother and you got a little brother wants to hang out with you, ride with you, go places with you. And we just didn't interact in a very positive way. We were typical rivalries with doing everything we could to embarrass or hurt one another. And not hurt physically, but, mess you up, things that brothers and sisters do to one another. And if I could go back, I would make sure that every interaction possible was filled with love, admiration, and appreciation of my brother, because I do love him and appreciate all of my brothers and sisters and family members. I also want to say when you have a loss in your family, you realize how important family is. And I want to thank my sister, my Aunt Ruth, the Walker family, for putting together great arrangements for my father. He couldn't have been laid to rest any better than he was. This was a true celebration of his life. And I wish that on all of you out there. It was peaceful. No one was arguing. No one was debating or fighting over things. We came together as a family and celebrated my dad. So that, if I could do anything, I'd send that energy out. Guys, I'm getting a little misty-eyed. So we're going to go into our break so I can pull myself together a little bit. But we will be right back on The Conversation Shop. Hi, guys. Welcome back to The Conversation Shop with Cedric Page. We're discussing loss and overcoming loss and death. For those who don't know, I just recently lost my father, Mr. Vernon Lee Johnson, Jr., and it's been extremely hard navigating this, and hopefully through my example, I could help someone else. So we're just going to jump right back in. One of the things that, I wanted to talk about was this feeling of regret that I think a lot of us feel after we've had a loss. I felt that a lot with my grandmother who passed, for not being able to be there, not being able to do a couple of things because I was sick. And feeling like and knowing I owed her more, but also understanding that you can only do what you can do. Being sick in a bed with a heart attack, trying to go someplace and have the possibility of having another heart attack wasn't going to be good. So again, it's nothing that I wanted to do. It's nothing that I wanted to do, but it's something that I had to do, which is what this show is about, helping people. So as you're navigating regret, what I'd like to share with someone is you can't go through life regretting things that you can't control. And I had to realize I had to let that go. And I had to realize there were situations that were out of my hands that I absolutely could not control. And the minute my mind and my spirit and my soul allowed me to accept that, it put my spirit and my soul at ease and at peace. Because I knew my grandmother would have wanted me to be in a bad situation, to be sick, be ill, and she definitely would have wanted me to travel that way. So again, I use my example as an example to say, guys, just put everything in its place. For a second, stop and go, there's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could change. And you have to accept that. Now, is that a weight that you carry? You carry that weight, but you learn to live with it. You learn to navigate it. You learn to smile about the memories that you have, and you learn to focus on the happy times and to celebrate life. So in terms of regret, I don't have any anymore. And I send blessings to my audience hoping that you don't, because I'm smiling, because I'm better. I'm a better man because of the things that I've learned from my dad, either verbally, non-verbally. I'm a better father and will be a better father moving forward. I thought I was a good father prior to the past. Oh, I'm about to be stellar, all-star moving forward, because one of the things I appreciate about my dad, again, was his bluntness and his honesty that came from it, right or wrong, good or bad. And I give that to my children, Kiara, Jaden, and Olivia, and I ask you to give it to yourself, number one, to be able to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Because one of the minutes, once you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with everybody else. So in my growth or my enlightenment, I have learned to be honest with the person, that the reflection in my mirror. Be honest in my walk. Be honest in my faults. And one of the things I learned from my mother was to wear all of your bruises out in the open. She never hid anything from us. She wore all her bruises out in the open. And when I was younger, I never understood it. I thought it was wrong. But as I'm older, there's an honesty and there's a truth that comes from that. And there's a realness that you give your children from living your life in that way. And again, I'm not saying everyone was perfect. There's no perfection. We're only perfect in our imperfections. But again, striving to be the best that we can be is what I feel we should all be doing, and what I live every day of my life trying to be. And again, no regrets, because I'm a better father. I'm a better friend. I'm a better mate. I understand love. I understand the limitations of love. I have clarity. So I'm extremely happy about that. One of the things I definitely wanted to share with you is, again, cleaning your house. Negative energy, negative attitudes. Oh, she said this. He said I took that. Oh, life insurance here. They took it. They didn't give anybody anything. Oh, they did this. Oh, she went in the house and knew I wanted that. My mama told me I can have the china cabinet. Oh, I hate her forever. Really? Really? Is it real? Is that it? A china cabinet? A lot of land? A house? Things you can't take with you. And it's so funny that we forget about the gifts that we have. The greatest gifts we have are our experiences with those people that we love. The memories that we have. The deep laughs that we have. The big cries that we have. Those are the jewels. That's the treasure. The treasure doesn't come in something that you can spend in a month or a year. And I know, like most of us, people of color, we don't have a lot. We don't come into this world with a lot. And let me not just say people of color, all of us. All of us aren't blessed with silver spoons in our mouths. We come into this world fighting, struggling, and running. And specifically people of color, we come out running. So a lot of us don't have things. So when someone passes, you look for your life saver, your life preserve jacket, a way means for you to make your life better. But you shouldn't weight your life being better or your value on someone passing or what you can get from it. That's horrible. That's morbid. And it's sad that a lot of us do that. My family didn't do it. My brothers and sisters, we didn't do that. And I thank God that we didn't do that. And we put honoring our father first. So what I challenge all of you is not to get caught up in any of those crazy things. And I ask all of you to do the right thing. And the right thing is not getting caught up in that. You know, if you've made bad choices in your life, if you had bad jobs, if you're unemployed, no one owes you anything just because your mother, your parents died. And one of the main things I want to say to someone is, you can't resolve things with the dead. You can't resolve them when someone's gone. If there's any things you have a problem with, if there's any things that you have a question with, you have to resolve that before the person passes. You have to have a conversation with your mother about what's going to happen when she passes, or what's going to happen with this, or if you're mad about something. You have to have those conversations while they're alive and breathing. And again, I'm sharing with all of you, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So don't think you have time to have the conversation, because you're going to wake up one day like I had to and realize you didn't have time. You were out of time. So again, have those conversations before something happens. Resolve things before you can't resolve them. And when the dust settles, all we have, right or wrong, is our family. So I'm not going to hold any chains, anchors, negative emotions, negative feelings towards anybody. Not even a little bit. You know, I had a friend I had to think about, and I'll share this with you. my friend Marcus Kilgore, real quick. Realtor, good friend for years. Had an issue with him selling my house. Literally an argument on the phone. Well, I was hyped up, was tired of dealing with trying to sell the house. He is being the realtor, putting his time into it, wanting it sold, but also, his time he doesn't work for free. So we had a disagreement that led to 9 years of not speaking. For nothing. I say for nothing. So I salute you, Marcus Kilgore. I'm very happy that you're back in my life. I'm very happy that we picked up like we never missed a beat. And that's a testament to friendship. Last but not least, give one other testament to someone that stood by me since I moved to Atlanta and started working at Mix. Again, it's a testament to family being friends. Mr. Troy Bowles stood by me, my brother, my brother, my brother. And last but not least, I'm not going to leave out my little brother, Mr. Ken Meyer, who's definitely been my friend. So again, and Susan, definitely not going to forget you, baby. Bro, man, everybody. It's a lot of people out there. So I send love and blessings to you all because you're no longer my friends. You're my family, and you'll be my family until I leave this earth. So again, guys, I just wanted an opportunity to kind of share with you my loss, how I'm navigating it, how I'm cleaning my house, how I'm building bridges with my family, how I'm realizing that negative conversation, negative attitudes mean absolutely nothing. Every day should be a celebration of life. And when someone passes, we need to celebrate their lives, the good things about their lives, and stop worrying about fighting over what I call kibbles and bits. Because you act like ducks. My favorite word is if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, is a duck. So I call you a duck. So if you ever see me post and say a duck, that's what I mean. Stop walking in that negativity and be mindful of the power in your words, the power in your action, the power in your energy. So I send all of you, through my power, blessings and well wishes, prayers, and prayers to overcome pain and loss. Because they never leave you. I'm smart enough to know my grandmother and my father with me every single day of my life. I hear them in my head. The choices that I make, they're with me. The man that I am is a testament to both of them. But a main testament, I can't take anything away from Miss Ruby Lee Johnson, but a testament to them. So I challenge all of you. Honor those that have come before us by pushing forward in a positive way. Success is all marginal. It's subjective. I think all of us are successful in our own right. So again, hopefully me sharing how I'm overcoming my pain, and again, I'm not over it. I'm navigating it with myself, my family, my sister, and my friends. And I thank all of you for your support. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with Mr. Ken Meyer, and we're going to pick up on investment. And the reason why we're doing investment with the show or on a show like this is because one of the main things I realized with my grandmother and my dad's passing is saving life insurance and just preparing for bad times. So hopefully this will help you with investment, give you some different ideas for investment, so all of you could be in good places. So again, we'll be right back on The Conversation Shop. Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you back to The Conversation Shop. I'm here with my very special guest, Mr. Ken Meyer. Ken, welcome to The Conversation Shop.
Hey, Cedric. Nice being here again.
Yes. Well, we're just going to jump right into it. I was sharing with my audience that previously we were discussing, wanting to come here and discuss investment. Investment specifically, gold, silver, Bitcoin, opinions about investment of currency. So Ken, we're just going to start, and I want you to just tell my audience a little bit about yourself. Tell them who you are, tell them what you do, who you work for, and give them a number or email address on how to reach you. And then we'll go right into talking about the coins and investment, okay?
All right, man.
Go ahead.
All right, my name's Ken Meyer. I work at Jim's Coins and Precious Metals. It's in the Hilldale Mall. We're in the lower level below the Metcalf's grocery store. What I do there is I appraise coins all day long, 9 hours a day. I help people with investments throughout the whole time too. We buy jewelry for scrap. Let's see, somebody would bring in, coins that they inherited. I can tell them all about it, and I can offer them a value, a price, and then it's up to them if they want to accept it or not, or hang on to it for a shorter time, or try to get a younger kid into the hobby, and that just builds the hobby, into the future.
Well, tell them how to reach you.
Okay, well, let's see. By phone, it'd be area code 608-233-2118. We are located, let's see, the address is 726 North Midvale Boulevard, obviously Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Well, first question that pops in my mind is, why should anybody be concerned about investment in coins? So let's start with this question.
Okay.
Why should anyone be concerned about investment? And number one, why is investment in gold and silver currency important? Why do you feel that this is a viable investment?
Okay.
Can you start there?
Sure. Well, gold and silver, first of all, have been around for pushing over 5,000 years. It's been, when Christ was, came about, the shepherds and all that, they brought gold and silver to them. And it's been very well known, and it's been around for, thousands of years. So yeah, we got, it's a great way to invest in silver because, and gold because, we don't know what's going to be going on with the U.S. dollar here in the future, or like people don't believe in banks anymore. Yes, you need banks to help with buying a house, maybe for loans or something. But for investing in money, I wouldn't suggest going with banks anymore.
But it's like digital currency now, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about Bitcoin. I've heard some people saying they're investing.
Bitcoin.
They're getting in Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways too.
So start by telling people what it is first.
Well,
or what you think it is.
What I've been told, I have a first cousin that has made a couple $1 million off of Bitcoin, and I don't get it. I don't understand how he's doing it.
The digital money.
Yeah, it's a digital money. Now,
Right.
Bitcoin, it was very low when I first started, and I think it went up to, how much did it go up to? Like 1,800 or something?
Yes.
Something like that. And so then I think he did a lot of selling when it hit the high, which was good for him.
So he made most of his money off of
Bitcoin.
selling.
Yes, he paid off his house off of his investment off of Bitcoin, and
Okay.
so I was like, I've talked to him on social media sometimes. And I'm like, hey, you know what you're doing on that Bitcoin? It's not for me.
Okay.
Basically all Bitcoin is, I've been told, is just a bunch of numbers on a computer.
Okay, but if you're a numbers person and it makes sense,
Yes,
then
and
it
I
may be a
believe
good
he is.
investment.
He's in the different types of numbers. Well, I'm into these kind of numbers.
Okay. Well, let's go back to these numbers. I didn't want to get off. I don't
all
want to
right.
get off track of talking about gold and silver, but I wanted to
That's all right.
wanted you to explain to the audience why we feel this is a better investment. So
Okay.
again, so just to reiterate, gold and silver has been around for thousands of years and it's never going away.
Correct. Never will go away.
And and gold and silver has what I've been told, was it called intrinsic value
Yes.
or intrinsic value, that as long as we're walking, human beings are always going to see value in gold
Yes.
and always see value in silver, mainly because of some of especially silver now and gold, but silver now because of all of the equipment and electronics that are
Yes.
using it,
Yes.
that are using silver.
Yes.
And also, gold is the best conductor when you're out in space for heat and a lot of different things. So
Okay.
for the more technical applications, gold is still being used. So the value goes
Yes.
up and down. So again, just sharing with my audience that this is a very valuable, very tangible way of investing your money and holding on to it. Would you say?
Yes.
So let's talk talk to us about the coins
Okay.
a little bit, and then talk to us about how where the investment comes in.
Okay.
Do you save these? Do you put them up?
Right.
You wait till the value goes up? Just explain to my audience
You got it.
how all of this works. I'm just going to give you the floor so you can just lay everything
Okay.
out.
All right.
And make sure you lay the coins out for them as well.
Right. Okay. So we'll start with the. This is called gold and silver
Hold it up a
bullion.
little bit.
Okay. So where are we going here?
Right there. There you go.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so
And
this
just
is
look at me.
Yep, this is a gold American 1 ounce eagle.
Okay.
Okay, so 1 ounce gold American eagle. Gold's going for about, last time I looked at it, about $1,275
Yes.
an ounce. That is very well known, and it's better to buy the 1 ounce rather than your smaller fractional.
Okay. Why is that?
Okay, because it
Let me hold this back up,
Yeah,
and then tell me.
Okay, it takes more effort to make 10th ounce than 1 ounce, which is one of the reasons. Let's see, I think in the board it's like $160 something for 1/10 ounce gold,
Okay.
rather than just being like $99 over a spot of 1 ounce of gold.
Okay. Now those numbers may make sense to you, but for
Right.
somebody like me, what does that mean
Well,
for value? Like break it down into Carmen. What does that mean to me in terms of dollar amount? So I can make more money off of this.
yes and no. Okay, it's worth more to start with.
Okay.
But like I was just saying, maybe like I just said, $99 over spot. Now everybody's not going to know what that means.
Right. What does $99 over spot mean?
Okay.
What does that mean?
Spot is the current time of the precious metal that you were buying.
So let's
that's the
say
spot.
when we say spot, we're talking about this
So that's-
week.
that's
Let's
one-
say today.
Well, today, the actual spot that you're buying the precious metal, that is the spot, the time that the metal's going for.
Right. So today, if I walk in your office, and I want to buy one of these coins,
Right.
the spot you're talking about is technically today. What the price of this coin
The
is?
actual time.
Today and time.
Yes, day and time.
Now, the reason why day and time is so important is because the price of gold and silver goes up and down a lot. So
yes.
it could be $18 today,
Okay.
and it could be $5 tomorrow.
Well, sure.
I mean, we know it's not going to drop.
Well, yeah. I mean,
We hope it doesn't drop that much, but
Yeah.
but just to kind of clarify for my audience,
Right.
that's what you mean.
yes.
Are we right?
Yeah, yes.
I'll say so.
That's what spot is. Now, what I'm saying over spot, the $99, that's the store's premium. Mm-hmm. That's how we're making $99 off of that purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. So our next silver coin.
Yep. Now that's an American silver eagle. Now that's 1 ounce too. Those are about anywhere between $5.50 over spot that we're making, to as little as, if you get a roll of 20 of them, then we can go down to I think about $2.50 over spot.
Well, this is where I want to clear up for my audience and for me as well. Understand how you guys make money, you know, with the spots.
Now you wanna know how you
but
guys
we
make
want to know how we make money.
Okay. Right.
Okay, and we're gonna, once we go into that, we're gonna jump right into the investment piece. Just wrap it up why it's important. Give you 2 minutes on that,
Okay.
and then we're gonna go right back into talking about. I'm gonna tie this into why investment ties into loss, but then we're gonna go into talking about loss again. So we're gonna
So you just
finish
want me
this
to
up. Give me
finish
about
this
2
up?
minutes on this.
Okay, this is coin bullion that's government issued. That was the word I was trying to think of. Then we got the 90% coin silver.
And these are the old coins, right?
Yes, those-
90% silver.
Right, that used to be put in circulation. Used to buy things with them.
With 90% silver in it. So we used
Yes.
to get these coins, and it was mostly silver back in
Yeah.
there. We're talking about back in
50s.
1963 Liberty
Okay.
coin.
Yeah, that one's a fit. Okay.
We're talking about 1964 Liberty
Right.
Kennedy coin, and then we're talking about
40.
1945
Yeah, okay.
solid silver. So
Well, not solid. It's solid 90%. So
90% solid. And let's show my audience a little bit of the big bullion here. What is
Okay.
this?
Well, that's 10 ounces of pure silver.
So this is pure silver.
Yes.
Okay.
So the coin being 90.
Okay, and then we
Now
have
that's a pure 1 ounce silver round, as they call it.
pure 1 ounce silver round, and then we have over here.
And that is unfortunately that's only a 2.5 gram. We currently don't have a 1 ounce bar in the shop, but that's 2.5 grams of solid gold.
2.5 grams of solid gold.
Yep.
So let's say we have these coins, and I come into your coin shop,
Okay.
and I want to invest. So if I'm understanding correctly, I buy the silver at the price that it is at the spot today.
Yep, that's how you start.
Okay, at the spot today. My goal when I'm investing or buying in silver and gold is to buy it low,
Yeah, and
hold
sell
on
high.
to it, when the price goes up and sell high.
Hopefully, yes.
So that's the ebb and flow of investment with
Yes.
coins and silver and gold.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Bitcoin is more digital money,
Yes.
and it's watching variables, was how it was explained to me.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, variables in numbers, intangibles.
Yeah.
So if you're a stockbroker, stock market numbers person, Bitcoin
It's probably for you.
is probably for you and will make sense. The reason I wanted to just have a small segment on investment, especially as you're down in the South, we're running into old coins, old different things that our family members are leaving or have in the homes. I just wanted to make you guys aware of different things that you may find that you can hold on to. Gold and silver is never going away. It's been around
Never going away.
forever. And holding on to it, buying low, selling high,
Correct.
the same way you do stocks, buy low, sell high,
correct. Yep.
is a good investment. So if you're familiar with stocks and are investing in stocks, I recommend looking into currency. Mainly to take care of yourself, make sure that you're leaving your kids something, making sure that you're investing your money in things that have the opportunity of providing wealth. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you having the conversation about investment, but one of the reasons I did want you to talk about this and lead into investing after a loss is for you to talk about your loss. You know, this show is about, I started the show talking about loss, dealing with death, dealing with loss. So I want to end it that way.
Okay.
I talk to my audience about family. I talk to my audience about tomorrow not being promised to you. I talk to my audience about thinking that you have enough time when you never know about time. So real quickly, why don't you share with my audience your situation? Ken's wife passed very suddenly,
Year and a half ago.
year and a half ago, with him next to her.
Sort of.
Sort of, but you know what I mean.
Same house.
So if you could just share with my audience just what happened very
Okay.
quickly, and
Yeah,
then how you're navigating it and leaving
I'm-
with some advice.
Yeah, I'm definitely free with sharing what happened because I'm here to help people through it. Well, first of all, she had type 2 diabetes. She was not born with it, was born with it's type 1. So she, about 12 years old, she was told that she had diabetes, so she had to go with it and all that. And then, okay, yeah, look at Cedric. She was on her oral medication, so she never went on anything with the insulin shots. She was just always on oral medication. So yeah, she passed away in her sleep, and I found her, the next morning, basically.
Now, tell me something. Finding it, how did you feel? Was it devastating? I'm assuming that was devastating once you
Well,
realized she had passed. Or did you know how to deal with it? Or was devastating even a word?
Shock.
Shock.
Is the word.
Okay.
Because I didn't shed a tear for probably the first couple hours, and I even go to the cops, the coroner that came to the house. I go, why am I not getting emotional here? And they're like, well, everybody reacts differently. And then like I've already been, I lost my mother-in-law, Angie's mom. So I've been through that. I've been through losing my mom when I was 11. So I've been through a lot of death in my family. Doesn't mean that I didn't get emotional when I lost Ange, but it's because my body was in shock.
So how are you dealing with it is my question. How are you releasing? Because
There's
when I hear that,
good days and bad days.
okay.
Yeah, there's days that I gotta just get away from people, and I just gotta be on my own, and just another thing is to stay busy.
Yes.
Stay busy helps a lot. If you are in a room by yourself or you're just watching TV or whatever, then that's tough. But if you are staying busy, you're around friends, like Cedric, and family, that helps you a lot. But yeah, there's days that I go up to the cemetery there and I kiss the stone, and sometimes I break down.
Right.
But then there's days I go up there and I'm up there with a smile because I'm so proud of that headstone.
Yes.
That it makes me smile or it makes me cry.
Okay. The tears of happiness.
Yes.
So-
I'm just very happy that I had the 7.5 years with her.
I understand.
I
Exactly.
wish I had 47.5 years with her.
So it sounds like you're really appreciative of the time you had, and you're focusing on your memories
Yes.
And you're
Oh,
focusing
memories
on
all
what
the
the
time.
treasure
Yes.
that she left you with,
Oh,
and
God.
realizing that it's a treasure,
Yes.
and she's not gone anywhere, right?
No, she's in my heart, and
So how do you navigate this when you're alone? You know, how let's talk about that real quickly. How are you dealing with that alone?
well, see, when I'm alone, when I go home and I drive my car and I open up the garage and there I see her Jeep in there. At first it made me like, shed a tear and, oh, Angie's home. And then I walk in and it's quiet and she's not there. Sometimes I'll break down because of that. But then there's times that, I'll go into a quiet home and I just know I gotta clean the house, or I gotta stay busy sometime, or I get excited. I'm always looking for some big show, some big game, something on TV.
Keep your mind off.
Yeah,
So-
that helps too. I mean, keep my mind off her losing her, but she's still in my heart.
Right, I understand exactly.
yeah.
We have to try to keep living.
Yes,
So
definitely keep living.
real quickly, if you could leave my audience before we go with any advice about dealing with loss and death.
I would say, because if you losing your father, be there. If you need help, like you've texted me, called me, I'm going to be there for you. Family and friends, they're everything to you when you lose people
Okay.
that you love. So, don't
thank
be
you for
afraid.
that.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Thank you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I thank you for that.
Yep.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this segment of the Conversation Shop. Hopefully, our conversation about loss and dealing with pain and death can help you or give you some tools to navigate it. And hopefully, our quick conversation about investment, bullion, silver and gold, things that we find in homes or things that we cherish, can be used as keepsakes and kept as investments as we move forward. But again, I want to thank you for joining us on the Conversation Shop. Have a wonderful evening and be blessed. Thank you.